folks. So I figured out a way to be more comfortable in front of the camera, and that is if I look at myself. So that's what I'm gonna do now, from now on. So this video is stemming from a conversation I had earlier tonight. It first went off into the ether about sort of assumptions that we make about certain people based on the things that they've done in the past or like said in the past, and then somehow got into cultural assimilation. So this is what this video is about. I'd just like to thank all people who were in that conversation with me: Alexis, Simone. Alexis was like half there. Simone, Joey, and Khadim. I said it right. And Andy. Andy was there. So thank y'all for being there. And so now I have something to talk about. So thank you. So we'll move on now. So firstly, I'm going to read off from the dictionary what assimilation means. So that is the act of assimilating. And to assimilate means 1. To take in and incorporate as one's own, or absorb. He assimilated many new experiences on his European trip. 2. To bring into conformity with the customs, attitudes, etc. of a group, nation, or the like. Adapt or adjust. To assimilate new immigrants. So the second meaning is more of what I mean when we talk about cultural assimilation. So I guess I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not against assimilation completely, entirely. And that is because I understand why some people want to culturally assimilate themselves. And that is for many reasons. One being safety. In some places, people can't really be who they are because the conditions to the areas in which they live are just not safe for them. Meaning, for example, like if we're talking about passing, like in the LGBTQ community, sometimes you just kind of, you gotta be someone else in order to be safe because things could be very dangerous for you. Also, when we talk about some groups, like traditionally marginalized groups, some of them can't be who they are because, again, safety issues. People will hurt them because of who they are, and that is fine. So I guess how I feel first is, assimilating in ways that are, for me, an extreme, or they're just not warranted. And that is, for example, like giving your kids like English names, and that's particularly something that I find in immigrant communities. What they do is that they have their traditional names, and then they have their proper names. And the traditional names usually are culturally influenced, and then their proper names are the names that they go by in school, in the workplace, that kind of thing. So an example is my aunt who, my little cousin's name is Muhammad, but his proper name, or name that he goes by outside, is Danny, right? Danny's nothing like Muhammad, and I have a problem with that because to me that says that, Muhammad is not a name that he can go by, and he's just not going to be proud about that kind of thing. So that's an issue that I have with that. And another reason why, someone would want to change their kids' names or give them American names or different names, proper names for that matter, is because they want their kids to be successful. And they know that having some of the names, their more traditional cultural names, in this world, or I'll just say America, in America, will not, guarantee them the access that other individuals have because of their names, because of the things that we perceive or the notions that we have attached to a certain name or, their cultural background. I understand that. It also doesn't, promote sort of a cultural pride or a cultural acceptance within the child. or the person who's been forced to assimilate at all. And I can talk about me. Like, I didn't grow up really loving who I was, because of all the things that people were telling me about who I was, and they weren't true, but I believed it. I really bought into that, and it took me a while to really understand, that I am who I am, and like that's it, and that's all I can be. Yeah, and cultural assimilation in terms of names, it's not a new phenomenon. Like, different groups that immigrated to America, they've changed they've anglicized their names and shortened it in order to, guarantee their success in this country. And we can say that a lot of them have successfully uh, assimilated into culture. Like, we can talk about like Italians, and some Jewish people, like some people can argue that they've successfully assimilated into whiteness, for example. Ultimately, my problem with this whole thing is that it doesn't promote diversity, it doesn't promote acceptance, and it doesn't promote tolerance at all. To me, when we continue to assimilate and not accept our culture, our different cultural backgrounds, and where we're coming from, we just don't end up really being who we are, and then accepting and making names that are very different, and cultures that are very different from, I guess, what American culture looks like, whatever that is, right? If they're different, if we continue to promote this diversity, like, those kinds of things would be widely accepted and normalized in a positive manner. So when I say my name is Aisha, right, people will be able to say it. And if I tell them, if I always make them, pronounce it right, or like that kind of thing, like they won't be surprised when they meet another Aisha. They won't struggle with it. If we work on it, people will get it, right? If we tell them that, this is who we are and you need to get with it, then that's the thing. If not, like, if they really truly can't get it, I mean, it's on them.